baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Good week. We'll go really quick. Mariners, great week. Good sweep.
Fantastic week.
Finally scored 5 runs at a game.
It was 5-1 on the homestand or 6-1?
Something like that. I think we only lost to Houston one time.
Which is great. We have dominated them recently, but they're still a tough team to beat.
Yeah, they 100% are. Well, my internet's updating, so I can't look up my internet. Oh, there it goes. That was really annoying. I think it was a great homestand. I think the pitching was unbelievable all the way around.
I think they all went 6 innings.
Yeah, someone was saying that it was the first time. I think I was listening to the radio.
I heard that what you're saying.
It was like the first time 5 starters have gone more than 6
rotation.
innings and not given up a run.
That's what it was.
Bullpen was fine. They squeaked out 1 or 2, whatever it was last night. The guy we just traded for gave up 1. It's like, okay, whatever. Like, wow, who cares?
Yeah.
So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. The Mariners are also getting a lot of publicity right now in multiple different ways. One, we're just getting notarized that we are actually a good team, which is kind of nice. We are playing well finally. We're starting to score runs. We fired our offensive base coach, or bench coach.
Speaking about that was interesting. Mitch Haniger actually had a quote that I found.
Oh, interesting.
He was talking about Brent Brown, which is the guy you're talking about.
We fired him,
unfortunately, our collective production as an offensive kind of led to this decision, and all of us don't feel too great about that. Brownie's not the one to blame for that. It's not his fault. So he's saying, as far as like other reasonings, I have no idea, but we're just trying to get our stuff together. So at that current time when he was fired, we had the number 1 strikeout rating or percentage with 28.3.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what led to him getting fired.
Yeah.
But Haniger's saying, like, obviously it's not him up there swinging the bat, but I thought that was kind of cool that at least he acknowledged that it's the player struggling. And I mean, I think having a new voice, that always helps. So I think that's kind of what led them to make that decision. But it also kind of sucks for guys like him when it's really not in his control, but it is.
Sure,
so.
Yeah, I kind of go back and forth with that type of situation because I've coached multiple times, and if you put the wrong, teach them the wrong thing or put the wrong situation in front of them, it is your fault.
Yeah.
You have to be able to teach these guys and these professionals. Now I get that they're professionals, and I think it was my dad or someone goes, they're professionals. They need a batting coach. I was like, well, you made a good point right there. I mean, I mean, they are professionals.
Yeah.
But when you go through this whole offseason to trade away strikeouts and you still have them, you kind of look at it and go, what's the common denominator?
Yeah.
We got rid of some players that have played very good this year now, and the one thing that's kind of still
there I don't disagree with it. It's just like it kind of at the end of the day, like it's unfortunate. But
and I think it's nice that they that he says that. I mean, I think I think Haniger's a very mature. He's a great professional, but I think to me, I don't care. He's the coach. Obviously, he's done a bad job. If Service had 10 wins this year, I would expect him to get fired. He's not the one swinging the bat, so I understand. But you also have to put the right situation in front of people, and obviously something that he's teaching
isn't working out.
Is not working.
So,
and obviously, right when you fired him, 3 days ago? Now we have a sweep and we're scoring 5 runs an inning. So I don't know what's changed, or if everyone's just gone back to what they used to do. I don't know. I don't know how that works. But the other interesting thing with the M's this week was 7 straight days no Savala.
Yeah,
he did not even come in.
To be honest, he's just not great.
Well, just shocker.
There's just nothing. When we got him in the trade with the Diamondbacks, I was like, why?
There was no reason for it.
Like, honestly, just go sign a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's not good.
No, he's not.
He hasn't been good. He's not.
Yeah, you should have kept Tom Murphy.
He's not a terrible catcher, but he's not great.
No.
And he's a horrible hitter. He can't do anything at the plate.
100%.
So you're just guaranteeing an out.
No, I agree with you. 100%.
Like, if he's
so bad.
Yeah, like if
his hitter, doesn't matter. You're not going to do anything.
Yeah. If his catching ability was like all pro, like, sure, that's fine. Like, to have as your backup catcher. Like,
Tom Murphy at least was a home run every once in a while.
Yeah, but he's not a good catcher and he's not hitting well. So it's like, what are we doing?
No,
like,
I agree.
Can't sacrifice an out.
I'm with you.
So,
and it sucks.
And we have Mitch Garver starting in catching, so it's like
he did start a catcher. Yeah.
So I was shocked because I didn't know, but he had been catching bullpens.
Yeah, I've heard.
So I thought he just came out of nowhere.
Spring training. No, he was doing spring training.
I was like, that's wild. But of course, he wasn't just coming out of nowhere. Like he's been a catcher
for a while.
That makes where he first. Sense.
Yeah,
I knew he was a catcher, just not this year. So.
Yeah, and I think it's fine. I think I would rather that happen honestly because Garver he's not hitting for average, but honestly, like the other night, he had a bases clearing double.
Double, yeah, that was nice.
Which was nice. He's more of a threat
Mhm.
than Zavala.
Oh, I 100% agree.
So I think that's fine. Obviously, I don't want Cali playing every day. It's going to ruin his knees. It's going to ruin his legs. They do need to find a backup catcher.
Oh,
Unless they're going to have Garver just be the the
Yeah.
7-day guy.
Every once in a while, I'm sure.
Which is fine too. And whatever. They the Mariners also are a little bit in the news for a couple reasons. One, they picked up Jonathan Clase. They sent Jonathan Clase down to bring in
Mhm.
Victor Robles. Whoop-de-doo.
I mean, he's a great defensive player.
Yeah.
He just can't hit. But I was looking
He's
his
batting-
left-handed splits.
In his last 7
He's
games,
hitting-
he's batting .071.
He has hit career-wise. I think he's hit 295 off lefties. So that's their plan with him. It's just to hit him more off lefties. Because I think
guess.
his right-handed pitching, he's hitting 205 as a career.
He's only 27 or so.
Like he hasn't been.
He's
I was
nothing
just looking,
special.
Like his career is nothing great.
No, he's
Um,
nothing special, which is
Doesn't
at
hit
236.
Hit for power for 1 year in 2019 is probably his best
He
year.
gets 17 dingers. What the hell?
But other than that, like he
talk
just
about someone
hasn't-
roiding up.
Yeah.
My gosh,
he just has not
wow.
met the expectations. Because I remember when
Yeah, he
that was about the
supposed to
time
be-
that Harper left.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was supposed to
And-
fill in and replace him.
And
Yep,
it was
I
him
remember that.
and Soto were still
Yeah, they
like,
were supposed to be the
pretty
guys.
pretty solid, and then obviously Soto left and
Mhm.
Harper left, and he's not good. So
Yeah, I
we'll
mean,
see.
it's interesting because I don't know. Clase's been fine. He's been kind of whatever.
yeah,
But-
he just can't hit yet. It's pretty much everything else he's been fine with. Like you said,
Yeah.
he just hasn't hit.
So it'll be interesting. I mean, I feel like we have so many freaking outfielders too. Like Luke Raley's been playing really well. Julio's kind of been kind of doing like a up and down
Yeah.
thing, but he's kind of looks like he's going up. Canzone's been playing well. Obviously, you had Clase, that who am I missing? Haniger.
Haniger's just been
Yeah, he's really fallen off. He started the year
Yeah.
really well and then just
he's
really
been
got back to normal.
okay.
But it's just interesting. I just feel like we have almost like one too many outfielders now. When I'd rather have a second baseman or
But we have Ryan Bliss.
he's been
which-
okay.
and then Polanco's hurt.
Yeah, I know.
So
But Polanco's always hurt. That's just the thing.
yeah,
The other thing, one other thing the Mariners have been in the news for is the Blue Jays suck. They have been really bad.
Yeah.
Not like really bad, but they have been not living up to where everyone thinks
not
they are.
where they should be.
And that has led to several trade rumors across baseball with
Mhm.
obviously, if I kind of go through this, the big one is the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., both
Mhm.
under contract. I think Vladdy has,
I think it's this year.
I
Next.
think he has, I want to say he's only this year, but
Okay.
he has arbitration for next year.
Oh, sure. So he's I
So
gotcha.
technically you have him for 2 years. Bichette, I think, is on 2 years
Okay.
contract wise.
yeah.
I know that from what I've heard is their GM has said no, we're going to try to extend them, we're going to
Mhm.
keep them. Obviously, they're both having down years from last year when Bo Bichette was like the 15th in MVP, and then 2 years ago Vladdy was second or something
Yeah.
like that. It was unreal. The Mariners would have to, if they wanted both, they would have to give up a lot. But if they just want one of them, which one do you think you'd prefer, and why? And who would you be willing to give up?
That's what I'm trying to think. Well, honestly, that's tough. I feel like Guerrero has more upside.
100%.
I like Bichette's position better personally because I think he could either roll over to second or by the time if JP Crawford, we'll see what happens. So he could obviously take over at shortstop.
Sure.
But I think if you do go with Guerrero, like we talked about before, it'd have to be like Ty France,
Mm-hmm.
Hancock, Cole Young, and probably Colt Emerson,
Mhm.
which is a lot.
I don't think, in all honesty,
But-
I don't think you'd have to give up that much to get Guerrero.
That's a lot. That's the
think
only
if-
thing.
To me, I think you would look at it more of like you give up Ty France because that's the first baseman that
yeah,
covers the whole. Hancock, which is they need starting pitching.
I would
They
be fine
are
with
in
that. Like
desperate
I think
need of starting
Hancock's
pitching.
okay, but I don't think he's going to be better Wu
No.
or Miller.
No,
So,
I agree with you. I think you give him up because one, he's going to want to start playing at some point, and if you unless you're not going to sign Kirby or Gilbert,
Yeah.
or whatever. But you give up those two, and then I think you might throw in, as much as I don't really want to. I don't think either of the infielders have to go. I was watching someone talk about this because the infield for the prospects for Toronto, they have two infielders
oh sure.
that are supposed to be ready by next year. So
Yeah.
I think
Maybe Harry Ford.
That's who I think is going to have to go.
Yeah.
And then I think, because Harry Ford, I think, is the big one that goes with them. Obviously, Hancock, Harry Ford, I think, are the big ones. And then you probably give up, like, you have these guys down here, Tyler Locklear. You could probably
you
give
just
up.
call it the Triple H.
Yeah, Michael Arroyo. You have other guys. Honestly, you give up Jonathan Clausse if you wanted to. You have some guys that you can give up to, to kind of fill that hole. Obviously, Cole Young, Harry Ford are both in the AA right now, so they don't have a lot of, they're I don't know if they're ready.
Yeah.
On most trackers, it has Cole Young next year and Harry Ford next year.
Yeah.
At least for the Mariners, I find that hard because Cole Young could slot in at second perfectly fine, I believe. Harry Ford, unless
he's playing, I think he plays outfield too. So
someone was saying he was practicing second or third and first. Okay. But he is, and if he's okay with just DHing or flopping DH with Cal, but the hard thing with Cal is switch hitter, he can kind of go either way.
Yeah. Cal should just be in the lineup if he's not.
I agree. Yeah, unless he needs Sunday off. Yeah. So I don't know. I think you could give up like maybe a guy in the 10-15. You give up a Harry Ford. You give up a Hancock and a Ty France. I think that could land you Guerrero.
It'll be close.
But I don't know. I mean, I think Guerrero, like you said, has more upside. I think he's a much better player. I think that he just makes more of an impact for the Mariners. Power bat.
Oh, for sure.
He probably doesn't have to be the guy on our team.
No.
I mean, you still have Julio, who's probably going to be the guy for the time until he dies here. So,
yeah. I mean, I would like it. I just don't know if it'll actually happen.
No, I agree. I don't think it will either. If anyone's going to go get him, it's going to be the Yankees or the Phillies or something crazy. There are other ones out there that I've seen with the Mariners kind of beginning. Obviously, Bregman's a big one that people are talking about. Do we think Bregman's going to get traded? He's not. He's playing okay, but that team is just really bad. Are they finally about ready to move on?
Kyle Tucker's a big one I've seen.
Kyle Tucker's a huge one.
I would love that.
He'll never come to us.
They'll never. So expensive.
I was going to say, they would, and I would, to be honest, I'd rather not trade.
Interdivision is going to be.
I don't want to do that because I don't want to see Harry Ford come back to Seattle and rake against us.
Yeah.
There's just a bunch of people that you just kind of don't know.
Yeah.
And what could happen going forward with I mean, I think the Blue Jays are just going to be the biggest seller. Mm-hmm. You might see someone like the Braves look to fill that Acuna hole a little bit. They have been known to
in 2021 they
signed some insane players that have really
traded for Soler, Duvall, and Eddie Rosario, which
Rosario
they did win the World Series. So
the other big one I've heard that's kind of been going up and down is Mason Miller.
I really want us to trade for because
he looks
Santos
good.
Is not supposed to come back till July, and we have no idea what we're going to get.
Yeah, Brash is out for the year.
Brash is out.
But it's also like, do we really need the help?
We need one. I feel like if we had an arm and a bat.
But like, for our bullpen, do you really need one?
It'd be a seventh inning guy, honestly, because
Stanik's been unreal.
He's been bad as of late. He started kind of rough, but I do like
he's
Stanek,
gotten good. So. Munoz has been maybe closer of the year.
He's been nasty.
I mean, you have Spire, who's been fine. You get his head back. Saucedo will be back soon. I know he's out for a little bit. Voth has been fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of one of those things where I'm like, it depends on what we have to give up for someone like that. Because if we have to give up a top 5 prospect, no, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But if it's a top 15 prospect, then yeah, sure, I'm down. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, like I said, the Mariners are just on a little bit of a hot streak. They've won, I don't even know how many now in a row. Is that 5? I think it's 5. It's either 4 or 5 in a row. I can look really quick.
It's been great.
It's been pretty solid. They've won 3 in a row. I'm lying. They did lose to Houston, and then they swept.
Oh, yeah.
Run differential's finally in the positive after this week. The 9-0 win really helped. It's fun. Well, it's funny. You look at this and you go, like someone was saying, the Mariners don't lead. They're not in number 1 in anything.
Yeah.
Position-wise, hitting-wise, pitching-wise, nothing. And you look at this and you go, okay, run differential, Yankees, plus 107. These are all first-place teams. Guardians, plus 78. Phillies, plus 99. Brewers, plus 68. Dodgers, plus 86. You're like, oh, okay,
yeah.
Everyone scores more than their team. Mariners, plus 7. What are we doing? Firing our bench coach.
Yeah, we can't hit.
All
Except
right,
for this
let's,
weekend.
let's get off of the Mariners. Let's get
Yeah.
off the Mariners. Thanks for listening to the Kind of Athletic podcast. Be sure to follow us on all of our socials and come back next week for next week's episodes.